Good morning. I want to jump out of the Sermon on the Mount this weekend, January 22nd, which would be tomorrow. There are churches all over that will be focused on Sanctity of Life Sunday. And as of my recording of this, the U.S. government is doing everything it can to try to subvert and try to angle against the Supreme Court decision that reversed Roe versus Wade. It is shameful. It's horrible. It actually speaks of a culture of death. That's because the worldview behind that is following in the steps of really a kind of moral death. I want you to listen to Deuteronomy 30, verses 15, and I'm going to go all the way down and just read for you all the way down through verse 20 this morning. And it's in verse 19 that a real famous phrase comes that sometimes is on t-shirts in the pro-life movement. So I want to give you the context. I want to give you the context because what I want you to see is when you see that phrase on a pro-life t-shirt, I want you to connect it from the physical to the metaphysical. Here we go. See, I have set before you today life and good, death and evil. This is Deuteronomy 30, verse 15 through 20. If you obey the commandments of the Lord your God that I command you today, by loving the Lord your God, by walking in his ways, by keeping his commandments and his statutes and his rules, then you shall live and multiply, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land that you are entering to take possession of it. But if your heart turns away and you'll not hear, but are drawn away to worship other gods and serve them, I declare to you today that you shall surely perish. You shall not live long in the land you are going over the Jordan to enter and possess. And by the way, he means this very physically, living in that land. I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I've set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, in light of this choice, choose life. See that on t-shirts, right? Choose life, that you and your offspring may live, loving the Lord your God, obeying his voice, holding fast to him, for he is your life and length of days, that you may dwell in the land that the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Here's what I want you to see. Of course, this text is not directly with abortion in view. But the principle here of choosing life, a particular way of living, so that you can physically and your offspring can physically flourish. That is what this text is about. It's very much about living a particular kind of life so that you can physically flourish. Generations ahead only physically flourish because generations now make the right choices. And they make the right ethical choices. They make the right moral choices. Do not give in to a culture of death, even when your federal government right now, your federal government is sending the message to you that it's okay. We can mail abortion pills through the postal system with a big yes behind it, even into states that have said no to abortion. But the federal government's saying, but we're going to not prosecute that. We're going to say that's okay because the federal postal system's going to go ahead and do that anyway. See, we have a culture in terms of our federal government right now that's a culture of death in regards to the issue of abortion. We need to be people that choose an ethic of life, right? Now we choose an ethic of life because we are committed to the bigger superstructure of God's way of living that is choosing life. That's what gives birth to actual physical flourishing. So celebrate, sing to the rafters, the goodness of God in giving us a good ethical framework of life so we can have a good physical life as you celebrate sanctity of life and protect the unborn. Take care.